Hey everyone, I'm Hiro. Welcome back to the CISA exam prep series. Today we are covering Chapter 2, Section 2, Organizational Structure, IT Governance, and IT Strategy. Before we get into frameworks and committees, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen an IT project that cost a ton of money, took forever, and then nobody actually used it? Yeah, that happens more than you'd think. And the frustrating part is that the technology usually worked fine. The servers ran. The software did what it was supposed to do. But the project still failed. Budget overruns, missed deadlines, and at the end of it all, nobody could explain what business problem it actually solved. And when things went sideways, nobody knew who to hold accountable. That's what this section is about, the governance structure that prevents all of that. Who decides what IT invests in? Who's accountable when it fails? And how do you measure whether IT is actually working? Section 2 covers the governance structure, the key roles, and the strategy framework that makes IT actually work. Let's get into it. 5 focus areas of IT governance. There are 5 focus areas that IT governance needs to cover. Think of these as the 5 questions every organization should be able to answer about their IT. First, strategic alignment. Is IT actually supporting what the business is trying to do? Not we have a cloud migration plan. Does that plan connect to real business goal? If the company wants to expand internationally, IT should be building infrastructure that supports global operations. That's alignment. Second, value delivery. Are you getting your money's worth? If a company spends $50 million on a new system, the question isn't whether it was installed correctly. The question is whether it generated $50 million in value or more. IT governance requires evaluating that return. Third, risk management. It comes with risks, security breaches, system outages, vendor failures. Governance means those risks are identified and kept within limits the organization can accept. Not eliminated, but managed. Fourth, resource management. This one is about people, assets, funds, and data. Are they going to the right places? A common mistake is pouring budget into shiny new project while ignoring the maintenance of critical legacy systems. And fifth, performance measurement. You can't manage what you can't measure. This is about having KPIs and indicators that tell you whether IT is actually delivering on its promises. Auditors don't just check whether these exist on paper. They check whether they are actually working and whether they reinforce each other. Advisory versus decision making. Now let's talk about 2 committees, and they are very easy to mix up. The IT Strategy Committee and the IT Steering Committee. The names sound almost identical, but their roles are completely different. Here's an analogy. Think of a restaurant group. The IT Strategy Committee is like the board of directors sitting in the executive office. They give direction. We should focus on premium dining. We should expand to overseas markets. They advise on strategy. They don't run the kitchen. The IT Steering Committee is the general manager and operations team. They decide which new menu items get approved this quarter. They control the food budget. They make sure service runs on time. So, in real terms, the IT Strategy Committee is board level. It's made up of directors and specialists. Its job is to advise on the long-term direction of IT. It does not hold decision-making authority. The IT Steering Committee is operational. It's led by the CIO with representatives from business units. Its job is to approve specific projects, set priorities, and oversee the budget. and it has strong decision-making authority. Here's a classic exam trap. The IT Strategy Committee approved the cloud migration budget. That sentence is wrong. Approving budgets is the steering committee's job. The Strategy Committee advises. It does not approve. Keep that distinction sharp. The CISO, why independence matters. Let's talk about the CISO. The CISO, or Chief Information Security Officer, is responsible for the organization's overall security strategy and policies. And there's one structural question that matters a lot here. Who does the CISO report to? Here's a scenario. A CISO reported to the CIO. The CIO wanted to relax password requirements to make things more convenient for employees. The CISO objected. This increases security risk, but the CIO outranked them, so the change went through. A few months later, there was a security incident. The lesson is straightforward. When the CISO reports to the CIO, security loses to speed and efficiency, not because anyone is malicious, but because their priorities are structurally different. The CIO is optimizing for efficiency. The CISO is optimizing for security. If one of them has to win, you want it to be a fair fight. That's why the CISO should be independent from the CIO. CISO should not report to the CIO. Ideally, they report directly to the CEO or COO. One more thing on accountability. The CISO is responsible for developing and executing the security strategy, but ultimate legal accountability sits with the board of directors. This happened on my watch, and I answered to shareholders and regulators kind. CISO executes. Board is accountable. How auditors evaluate IT strategy. When an auditor evaluates an organization's IT strategy, they are checking three things. First, alignment. Does the IT strategy actually support the business goals? Not just in the slide deck. In practice, a company that announces, "We are going to leverage AI to drive operational efficiency," without connecting that to a specific business challenge. That's not a strategy. An auditor will push back and ask, which operations, what level of improvement, and how does that connect to the company's actual objectives? Second, feasibility. Is this strategy achievable? You'd be surprised how many IT strategies look impressive on paper but have no committed budget, no qualified staff, and no realistic timeline. The auditor's job is to flag that. A strategy that can't be executed isn't a strategy. Third, ROI clarity. Can you measure success? If the goal is improve customer satisfaction, what does that mean in numbers? A 20% reduction in support response time, higher customer retention rates. Vague targets make it impossible to evaluate whether IT is delivering, and from an audit perspective, that's a significant risk. Let's wrap up section 2. IT governance focuses on creating value. Think of it as offense. Security governance focuses on protecting value. That's defense. Both matter, and auditors evaluate both. IT governance has 5 focus areas: strategic alignment, value delivery, risk management, resource management, and performance measurement. Know all 5. Remember that auditors evaluate whether they work together, not just individually. The IT Strategy Committee advises at the board level. The IT Steering Committee makes operational decisions. They are not the same thing, and mixing them up is a classic exam mistake. The CISO must be independent from the CIO to avoid conflicts between security and efficiency. The CISO executes the security strategy. The board holds ultimate legal accountability. And auditors evaluate IT strategy on 3 dimensions. Is it aligned with business goals? Is it actually feasible? Is the return on investment clearly defined and measurable? Alright, that's it for section 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.